this with Jack Goff. This is the VW Passat CC touring car in its latest livery. Hope you're all well. This is going to be a good day. Hey, Jack Goff.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, mate? You all right? Can you see
Not too bad.
Can you see the screen? Can you see your car on the screen?
I can see that. Now, first things first, can you hear me? And am I like juddery and all that sort of stuff? Because our Wi-Fi is like Stone Age.
I can hear you, which is the main thing. You are looking a little bit like a pixelated Lego brick, but that's fine. I can hear you.
That's just my home haircut.
We've known each other for a couple of years. I'd say a good few years. We've met at different events when you do some of your driving stuff as well, like for brands and manufacturers. Obviously, now you're this is your race car for the 2020 season, yeah?
Yeah, it's a bit of a looker as well, and that picture is pretty special, I think.
It's wicked.
It's good memories. It was sunny, nice testing, food wasn't too bad, and the company was all right too, really.
There we are. You've got to say that because the main man's watching as well. So I think you've got to say the company was good.
Well, not the boss.
Yeah, the boss is watching.
Oh, now I'm in trouble. I haven't even got my Team Hard t-shirt on because I've been going out on my bike every day. And it turns out that the new 2020 merchandise is really good when you're riding bikes as well, if you're into bike riding.
Oh, that's a good plug. It's a good plug. I like it.
Always there for that.
Right, so I'll quickly explain what I've been doing. Obviously, I'm normally at shows and events painting with these things, creating artworks. That's what I'm normally doing. But because of the situation, there are no events and I'm not in my studio. I'm in the spare room at home. So what we've been doing is we've been creating continuous car drawings. So once that pen is down, I then draw and get the basic outline of that car done. And then over about 30 to 40 minutes, we have a nice chat. You tell me all about your racing career and where you started, how you got into it, the key kind of moments of your career, and right up to the test day, the day at Silverstone when you got in this car and did a few laps around Silverstone. So that's the plan. Does that sound all right?
Sounds good to me, mate. Sounds good to me. I can do that, but I can only draw a stick man.
I can't draw a stick man. I can draw cars, but stick men, I'm terrible at. I'm terrible.
So I'm going to wait for you to start it off, am I?
Well, we'll just start. So basically, they're called continuous cars. So that's the hashtag. Continuous car is the thing. All of these images are going to go into a book. So there's going to be a book of about 300 images that I'd have created during lockdown. And so that's on crowdfunder right now. So I'm going to start and crack on with your car. So you can introduce yourself, who you race for, and then also let's start from the beginnings of how you got into being a race car driver. Right.
Perfect. Yeah. So if everyone can hear me, it might get a bit jumpy and juddery at some point. But I started when I was, actually it's my 6th birthday, so it was March the 6th in 1997. I have to think about that one. It's going back a little bit now. I was playing football for my local scouts team, and it was on my birthday, and half time came about, and it was my dad and my uncle, and they had gone halves. It was £100 each. Now, this £100 each was all my dad was ever going to spend on my racing, obviously, and he hates football. I actually love football. I still love football. I go and watch it quite a bit now, which he hates. But yeah, he brought me over to his van at half time and opened up the back doors of the van. And there was my first car. And so it was £100 each, so they spent on it. That came with 2 engines. I think it came with a crash helmet. It came with some spare bits and pieces. And, it was a bit of a bargain in the grand scheme of motorsport. And it went from there. The following day, I went out, my first ever go on a go-kart at 6 years old and a day. And I had my school shoes on because it was straight after school. Didn't have any race boots or anything like that. I think I had some of his builder's gloves on because he's a builder. So I probably had some rubbly gloves on. And this helmet that had probably been worn by about 700 people in the past, which stunk and probably could walk on its own. Probably a bit like my crash helmet at the minute, actually, because I'm waiting for my new one. It's been going for a few years now. But to be fair, that's where it all began. It was, say, 1997. My first ever go in a kart. and I haven't missed a day since. So I sort of did karting through to when I was 17 years old. I don't come from a wealthy background whatsoever, so it was, you know, every penny that my mum and dad earned, it went on the karting, and we used to sleep in the back of his builder's van. Really not glamorous at all. Another shameless plug, it wasn't my Champion RV that I've got now, so it's a little bit different to that. It was literally the back of a builder's van. I used to sleep in my kart suit because it was so disgustingly cold and wet, and it used to drip with condensation, things like that. But it makes you appreciate it even more, and, you know, you go through those times, and, you know, I was very, very fortunate to get looked after in karting through a kart company called Kestrel Karts, and my dad used to go and do building work for him, probably free of charge, in return for my tyres and that at race weekend. And that's how car.
Oh, you broke it up a little bit.
In his van, sort of dad and lad, and in a weird way, obviously at the time I was probably jealous of all the people who had the flashy motorhomes, all that sort of stuff. But like I say, it does really make you appreciate it more when you're working on your own car. So I'd come back from school. We had a lot of arguments with me and my dad at the time why we're not cleaning my cart yet, because I'd been back from school for an hour, and I was probably a stroppy teenager at the time, and I wanted to sit at home and watch TV or go on MSN probably. You know what it's like. And yeah, it was good. It was good days, the karting days. I did that for like 11 years. Won lots of like club championships. We then went into like the British National Championships, had a couple of podiums in that. But we sort of got to a point where the money that my dad was spending, which was all he could afford to spend, wasn't going to get us to the next stage in karting. I tried desperately hard to get sponsors in karting, and I found it very difficult. And then somehow I managed to convince my mum and dad to cash their pension in for my first race car.
Wow, I mean that is quite a commitment, isn't it?
I mean, I'll probably never ever live it down, will I? Because I haven't paid him back yet, and I do get told quite a lot he's paying the loan off. So yeah, I've still got to pay that back over the years, probably at some point. But at the time, I was at a place called Silverstone Motorsport College.
Yeah.
Doing a degree in motorsport engineering, or diploma in motorsport engineering. And it was actually a Formula Ford that we first ever bought. It was a Formula Ford 1600, a Kent engine thing. It was a what was it? Was it a Formula Ford and one model maybe, which was the same year I was born. Now, we were told this Formula Ford, obviously we were pretty naive at the point, we'd just come from karting. We were told it had won everything in Irish Formula Ford or something like that. So I convinced my dad to obviously cash his pension in. We went up to Anglesey to go and collect it on a lovely rainy day at Anglesey. We met this guy, put it on the trailer, and took it to my college, actually, where I was going. A lot of guys from Williams F1 and that still work up there. And it turned out pretty quickly, some parts of the Formula Ford might have won in the Irish Championship.
But not all of them.
Through.
Right, there's a basic outline of your car. It's only like 5 minutes. So
I've only just got to my first ever car thing, and you've already got to that point. So that's pretty good.
So, and it looks kind of like it. It's kind, it's going to be quite short. Going to be kind of short, and it's going to be a little bit caricature-ish, but it will look quite nice. That's a nice start. And I like it. I might put a bit of the background in because you talked about where it was tested. I'll put a bit of the mountains in the background because predominantly it's a white car. It needs something to lift it out as well. So
you've convinced me, mate.
Yeah,
you've convinced me.
All right, that's the only person I need to convince really, because that's the person I'm talking to. So
that's good enough for me. And we've got a long car, you see. You needed a longer notepad, like a landscape A3 page.
Well, I've only got a very small desk though, so I'm limited by the desk and the pens and everything else. So it's looking nice already. It's looking all right, and hopefully the big man, the boss likes it as well. Hopefully so far. So
I'm sure he'll write a comment in at some point, giving us some abuse or something.
So you've got this cart which you bought from somebody in Anglesey, which you got back and you found out actually it's not really what was it wasn't really what was promised as such.
Well, like I say, maybe the stickers that were on the side of it had won the championship at some point, but every other bit became pretty apparent pretty quickly that it needed sort of rebuilding from the ground up. And I was very fortunate. The guys at Silverstone Motorsport College They actually let me and a few of my college friends, after hours, stay back and work on it in their workshops, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
It was really good. That helps a lot. But obviously, my dad having spent out all of the money to buy the car in the first place, thinking it was a plug-and-play job, off we go, to then have a massive rebuild cost, we was on the back foot, to be honest, straight away. And we finally got it on the track, and I think the first time it went out, the clutch blew up. Either that or it's because I was riding the clutch, but I always told him it was the dodgy Irish clutch in it. And then we replaced the clutch, went back, and the best thing is we actually went back to Anglesey to test it, so a bit of a trek from us. And then the second time we went out in it, after replacing the clutch and all that rubbish, the engine blew up on the first lap as I left the pit.
Oh no.
So that was the end of that. So I'm pretty sure in the end we did about 5 laps in total in this Formula Ford, and it got put up for sale. And I dread to think about what we actually got back for it in the end. It was pretty horrific. That was very horrific, actually.
So you didn't do any kind of race. You just literally tested it a couple of times and it just didn't work.
Yeah, well, we entered one race, and like I say, I pulled up the pit lane in FP1 and the engine blew up, and it very quickly got put back on the trailer, and that was the end of that. It's a shame, you know. Obviously, as a kid, a lot of people say they want to get to Formula 1, but it became quite apparent to me early doors that it wasn't the route I was going to go down.
Yeah.
It was just the sort of natural thing. It was a cheap championship for us to go and get out in. It was good fun, and it was the thing we wanted to do. But it didn't work out, and from that point onwards, in 2000, that was 2008. So officially, I didn't actually race in 2008. It was just a matter of rebuilding a car and doing about 4 laps. So that was the only year between 1997 and now that I haven't actually raced in a race, which is pretty crazy, really. And then straight after that, we sold that up, managed to convince my dad. I was still at college at the time, and at Silverstone there was a thing called the MG Live Championship going on.
Yeah, remember it? Yeah.
And I just popped over to the track on my lunch break and fell in love with this car that happened to be for sale. Again, a championship winner, obviously.
Is that when you had a phone call coming to your dad and going, actually, yeah, I found another car, actually?
Pretty much is how it went, and you can imagine the answer I got the first time round.
a swift hang-up, I imagine.
It took a little bit more convincing the second time round, but we managed to get enough money together to buy this MG race car. And obviously the main aim was always to do British touring cars. The feeder series to that was the Clio Cup Championship.
Yep.
But we couldn't afford to do that. So the next closest thing we found was this MG Trophy Championship. That's how I sold it to my dad, because it was on slicks. It had about the same sort of power, 190 horsepower. It went to the same sort of tracks, had a limited slip diff. So these are the things I sold to my dad, why I needed to be doing this, obviously, for the bigger picture. And we did it. We got it together, and it was at my local village fete, believe it or not. I got my first ever sponsor.
Right.
I must have sent out thousands and thousands and thousands of emails, cold calling. You know what it's like. Sometimes you get frustrated, but I mean, years upon years, I was sending out cold call emails, local companies, things like that, getting nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I was at my local village fete. We were actually selling raffle tickets, I think it was, for £10 a ticket to put your name on the car.
Right.
I think I probably sold about 2, which was good.
It was a start. You got to start somewhere, you know.
Pretty much bought my dad a bacon roll in return for buying the car. That was good. But it was really near the packing down. We set up a little awning and that on the day, and this guy came up to me and was like, "Oh, I want to sponsor you," and I was like, "All right." I've heard this all before, by the way, at this point. You know, I've been promised the world by every single man and his dog, and everything always falls through at the last minute. So at this point, it was raining, I was packing the awning down. I was like, I'll come and speak to you in a little bit. And we met up in the pub over the road from the village fete, which is always the best place to do your first sponsorship deal. And believe it or not, they're still with me to this day. So that was 2008, and they've been with me as a sponsor.
So who was that?
There's a company called HSL.
Right.
They're actually renamed now as Four Wheel Entertainment, but they are basically lighting, stage, sound, hire company basically that do big concerts, festivals, world tours, things like that. They've probably done the Spice Girls. So if Paul O'Neill's foul, I'm sure he probably owes me a pint out of it or something.
Yeah, he was on the Paul was wicked. It was on yesterday actually. Painting his not. I keep saying painting, and I'm so used to saying painting, and I'm not painting. I'm drawing. Yeah, he was did his Integra yesterday. So yeah, he was it was a good laugh to speak with and find out about as well. So yeah,
He's a good lad.
it's great. It was great. I was saying to him, yeah, for me, it's like because I don't get to watch the touring car when I'm there. It's like how I interact with it is I catch up with the highlights. So he is part of that kind of highlights package for me. And obviously,
Highlight's a big word for him. Like you can't call him a highlight of the weekend, surely.
well, I'm normally knee deep in paint, so I don't really get to see much. But by the time I'm set up, it's kind of the next thing I know, it's Sunday and everybody else is leaving. So it's but I love it. I miss being at circuits and being around people, and this is doing this kind of interactive thing via Instagram is kind of it brings a flavour of what I'm kind of missing from circuits.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. It's a strange old time we're living in at the minute, isn't it? It's my highlight of my day is going out on my push bike, and that's about as much adrenaline as I'm getting currently. So it's. Oh, actually, no, I'm playing FIFA as well, and I'm taking the mighty Wycombe Wanderers up to the Premiership, and we are in the FA Cup finals. So,
look at that!
Big day coming up.
So anyway, so we're at the pub. You've nailed your first deal. They're still with you now, and so where'd you go from there? So you've got the MG. And so what championship does that support then? Where does that race?
So the MG Trophy Championship was part of the MG Car Club, and it was like the headline championship for that package as such. So it was the touring cars of the MG Car Club weekend, basically.
Yeah.
Which was cool. We got all the garages and things like that, and I told you about the pub where I did my first sponsorship deal, and I actually ran the car out of the pub shed.
Right. Okay.
So we knew the people who owned the pub, and they let us use their shed that was the side of their pub, which was always very entertaining when I was out there trying to prep my own car, and I've got the local pub people coming out with their pint trying to help me change a head gasket on my MG ZR, which is always entertaining.
Yeah.
Obviously, getting told what I needed to do by people who are 10 pints down, it's always good. But it was good fun, and again, it was almost like back in my karting days where it was me, my dad, and a few friends and family who I had from college, things like that. We would prep the car, take it on the back of his van to the track, and then in between races, get out of my race suit, put my overalls on, and prep the car for the next race. I probably didn't crash it quite as much back then because I was conscious about having to fix it myself as well.
Yeah.
It was a good thing.
You had to get it back into that pub.
So yeah, that was sort of that, and I actually won my class in the MG Trophy Championship that year, and we sort of spent the year, obviously with that first sponsor, getting to know them, but also they were introducing me to a few of their business contacts, things like that over the season, and sort of one by one, we managed to get a bit of budget together to go and buy a Clio Cup race car, and we got a bit of budget together to go and do a few races. We didn't quite get a full year out of it. We couldn't go and do Knockhill, for instance. It's a bit far, and it was stretching our pot of gold a little bit too far. But it was really good. I say the touring cars is always my dream, but to just do Clios was a dream as well. And to get on the grid in the Clio Cup Championship was just fantastic. And we had some decent results in the first year. I don't like to make too many excuses, but I am a driver. But the car we brought, not quite as bad as the Formula Ford I was telling you about, but it was a little bit haggard, bless it. It had done a few miles, and that's sort of where we went at the end of 2010. We looked into running with Pyro. So Pyro Motorsport, obviously, who have been very successful in Clios, and we actually rented a car off them in 2011, and it made such a difference in a championship that's so close and competitive like the Clio Cup. Like having a car that's new compared to a car that's 5 years old and done 5 years in the Clio Cup Championship makes a huge difference, absolutely massive. So
I was going to say,
we won the first race.
I mean, a Clio that's been in a Clio Championship for that many years has certainly seen. I'd say it's seen some racing. I'd have thought.
I think there was a lot of filler in the panels.
Yeah, they're quite notorious for not being exactly on their wheels all the time, are they? So.
Exactly, right, exactly. And do you know what? I actually, I probably had a few shells in Clios because over the years, you know what a Clio, like, they get, well, it's like touring cars really, isn't it? It's a bit bumper to bumper. elbows out, and the older shape Clio that I raced, the Gen 3 car, they were obviously only a two-door car, and the rear quarter panels were basically made out of cheese, I think. And if anyone got close to you, they would just fold in. So it was cheaper to reshell the car than it was to repair the car. And obviously keeping the weight down with the filler and all that sort of stuff was important. So I went through a few of those shells, but we obviously went 2011. We had a good year in 2011 in Clios. I think we had the most wins, the most poles of anybody, but I think I had the most crashes as well. We had a bit of a crashy year, and it was one of those things. I like to blame other people, obviously, but we're sort of always in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's one of those reasons where we either won races or we ended up on the back of recovery trucks, which wasn't the way to win a championship.
You don't. Yeah, I don't think you're going to win the championship on the back of a recovery truck. Unfortunately, I mean, it's one way. Yeah, at least you're showing your racing craft and your commitment to racing, though, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lack of commitment. I think it was just a lack of brain function at that point.
Yeah.
I was probably still young. How old would I have been? 2011. That's 9 years ago. I can't actually believe that. I'd have been just turning 20.
How do you manage that rate? Yeah. So what as a driver, what do you offer your sponsors? Is it track time? Is it test days? How do you go, right? Be with me, but this is what you're going to get for it, type of thing.
Usually yes, but obviously this year's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a bit trickier, but there's so many other ways of looking at it. So I do all my own sponsorship really from the ground up. So from the initial email contact to going to the meetings, to getting the packages put together, to making the proposals, to superimposing the logos on the cars. I like to do it all myself because it gives you a little bit of control over it and you can manage it and things like that. But there's so many different ways to go about sponsorship. It's not just the standard put a logo on the car and let's go racing. It's like you say, away from the track, we do corporate track days. Obviously, Tony at Team Hard's brilliant for that because he's got a massive wealth of cars sat at his workshop. VW Cup cars, Porsche Carrera Cup cars, Ginettas, touring cars. And it means you can put on decent corporate day packages, which makes a massive difference, which is really good. They've got that. You've got the hospitality aspect. So we do VIP hospitality on race weekends, which is obviously another thing which people get to bring their clients along to and their customers. And like I say, you've got the logo coverage and social media presence as well. So obviously in this day and age when we haven't got much racing going on, last night I was on a Zoom quiz chat with Candio Vision, my sponsor who's been with me now for a fair few years. And it's things just, interacting with them and keeping occupied and trying to think outside the box a little bit. And even things like we're doing right now is amazing because it's a little bit of coverage for my sponsors and we get to have a nice chin wag at the same time. Yeah,
no, it's got. I mean, when I started doing this, I was like, it actually came from a Ginetta driver. So a guy called Toby Trice is his name, and he was like, "Oh, well, can I join you on the chat whilst you're creating?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know how to do it, but it's doing it." He did. I was like, "Actually, this is really cool because one, I get to find out about you guys, about your career path." Secondly, I never get to. I would never. Normally, you're busy. I'd be at an event right now, preparing somewhere. I think it's Donington. Would have been Donington and Storick this week. So for me, it opens up a whole interest in actually being able to chat to a load of guys who I see racing, or I'm part of that paddock kind of people you see. But actually, it's kind of more relaxed, and I'm not trying to rush off somewhere doing something. So. I massively appreciate you taking some time out to do this as well.
I mean, I've got a really, really busy schedule at the minute as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, that bike ride, yeah. So
it's good, I say, the touring car dream was always my dream, and going back to that, it was in 2013, I got my first ever go in a touring car with Tony Gillam at Team Hard, and I was able to get my first ever podium in the last race of the year, a wet, dark Brands Hatch, and I think Mr. Gordon Shedden won the race. And to be able to get that podium in my first year of touring cars with Team Hard was amazing. And that really gave me the foot up for the following year from that result, which got me on the grid with Team BMR/Team Hard the second year in 2014. I had half a season in the Insignia, and then the second half of the season, we switched over to the VW, actually, believe it or not. So I saw something the other day where I think I've driven 3 out of the 4 VW shells now. Look, I've got Jamie Warren here, who said, "Who's your best engineer?" Now, Jamie
is he your engineer?
team manager.
What's that?
Well, so he's actually team manager, right?
Right.
But last year, we're fast forwarding the whole touring car story here a little bit now.
Okay.
But last year, obviously Silverstone Race 3 was a pretty good result
Pretty epic.
for us as a team.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, my engineer was away doing something else that weekend, and it just so happened that Jamie was engineering me. And obviously, he never let my engineer forget that, so he apparently is the best engineer now.
Right, so I mean, we have jumped massively. That's fine because I remember that race because that Silverstone race, it was the weather. The weather was changeable, wasn't it? It was like sunny, then rainy, then really heavy rain, and it was the second race that you went out on wet, but it was meant to clear up or something.
So yeah, race 2, we were all on slicks, and a safety car came out, and it started to spit with rain. So we pitted for wets because I think we were like 16th, something like that, but we weren't in the points, and we weren't going to get reverse grid unless there was a big accident in front, for instance. So we just took the decision to jump in the pits, put some wets on, and sort of away we go, and just sort of roll the dice a little bit. And we went out, and I think we were like something stupid, like 6 or 7 seconds a lap faster than the guys on slicks at that point. So we were thinking, here we go, it's on for the win here. And then they got red flagged, and we were absolutely, well, gutted obviously, because we thought this was ours for the taking. But obviously safety, and that comes first, the most important thing. But obviously from our side, being selfish, we were pretty disappointed not to be able to show the sort of decision that we'd made sort of spur of the moment. So then we got on to race 3. So yeah, it was the green flag lap, and I could see it went up to the back of the circuit, onto the back straight, and coming over sort of the BRDC clubhouse, there's a lot of grey clouds, and there's a little bit of rain in the air. And we just I came over the radio, I was like, look, what do you think, boys? Like, what have we got to lose, really? Are we going to win this race or get on the podium on the same tyre as everybody else? Realistically, probably not. You know, we didn't have the pace, even if the best engineer in the world, Jamie, was there that weekend engineering me. We probably didn't have the pace to win it outright on the same tyre. And then we got down to the clubhouse, and I think the radio call came back, like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm in the pits. And they're like, can you repeat? I'm like, no, I'm in the pits. Wets. They're like, oh, right, we're going for it. I was like, yeah, we're in. And we managed to get back out. The key thing here was getting back out on the same lap before they came round to obviously lap us and put us a lap down, because we never would have been able to get through if the safety car came out or anything like that. We got onto the back of them, and quite quickly it became clear that it was the right tyre to be on. And I think we was like 2 or 3 seconds faster. We started to come through the pack. And then, unfortunately, the safety car came out, which allowed about another, I don't know, 15 cars to pit and put wets on. Michael Crease is online now, look at him. It allowed them to come in, put wets on, which obviously eliminated our advantage we had, having the right tyre on the car. It was only me and Aidan Moffat at that point, I think.
Yeah,
So I came over.
And that was Aidan in the Infinity, was it? Because he just changed it. He changed from the Mercedes, because he ran a Mercedes at Thruxton, and then Silverstone he was in the Infinity, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think that was his. Was it his first weekend?
I think it was his first weekend in the Infinity. I think so, from memory.
Or was it the start? Oh, I can't remember. It may have been halfway through the season he changed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was one of the first weekends for that Infinity, and I think they were probably in a similar position to us, where it's like, well, what have we got to lose? Let's go for it. And obviously at that point it was just me and him, so we were like, oh, we're on for a podium here. Happy days. We're getting told it was Snetterton now, so yeah, we got it wrong. Snetterton. But yeah, at that point the safety car came out. I went up to my radio and I went, are they on the same lap as us? I was hoping they'd gone a lap down. And they was like, no, they're on the same lap. So I thought that was it, game over, because we would be having enough speed to beat the likes of, I think Jordan was on wets. I think all the BMWs may have gone wets, actually. Matt Neal was on wets. And I didn't really think we'd have the speed, but testament to the team hard car, you know, in the wet last year we were quick and we got our head down. Knew it was important to try and get through the cars in front that were on slicks, and there's a few cars between some slicks, try and get through them before the other wet runners came up behind us. But our pace was decent, and to repay the sort of faith Tony put in me, because obviously in March I didn't have a drive at all, so to be able to repay him with their first win was pretty special.
And because Aidan had a massive whoopsie as well, he did a full 360 behind you from memory.
Do you know the best thing about this? I honestly thought. By the way, I can hear the coffee machine working.
Hey.
I honestly thought, no word of a lie, that Ash Sutton was winning the race.
Right.
So when Aidan had his little moment behind me, I think Ash was still in front of me at that point, or it had just come to the pit so stupid like that. And I honestly thought I was racing Ash, so I was pushing as hard as I could to try and catch Ash. And then I think about 4 laps at the end, they were like, "Okay, so you're still leading." I was like, "What?
What?
I'm second." And another funny thing, it wasn't quite as straightforward that win as it may have seemed, but I think 10 laps to go, the windscreen header strip came off the car.
Oh.
And the problem with that, it would be fine, because obviously it's a bit of advertising. RCIB might have been a bit annoyed because they didn't have their logo on the car, but it came off, and underneath that header strip there was 2 holes on the windscreen where the pickup points go.
Oh yeah, that's where when the car goes up, you've got to go through the windscreen, haven't you, to hoist it up.
Yeah, exactly, because the way our cage worked, then pickup points happened to be through the windscreen. Would be fine if it was dry and the windscreen header came off, but obviously it left 2 massive holes on the windscreen which just filled the car with water, and within half a lap it was like driving with my eyes shut. I couldn't see hardly anything. I was driving through a 50p piece hole to try and make sure I didn't obviously throw the car off, and I basically was just saying to the boys on the radio, "Look, just let me know if they're catching me, because I've got to push on if they are, but at the minute I'm driving through a 50p hole, so it's pretty tricky." And I don't think they believed me until they watched the onboard footage back, which they don't get back until the weekend after.
Oh,
So
right.
I think it was Brands GP. They sat down and watched the race for the first time, and they were like, "Oh, actually, you couldn't see anything. We thought you were just making it up and exaggerating."
And you were like, no. Yeah, they're like, no. I genuinely can't see anything. So.
Yeah, us drivers are known for moaning, obviously, a lot. And usually I'll say, the car's got loads of oversteer or understeer, and they'll watch the onboard footage back. Usually the engineer and tell me, "Stop moaning and get on with it. It looks fine."
Yeah.
This time they actually agreed with me for once. And actually, you know what? It wasn't just... Obviously, our result was amazing because as a driver, you never get bored of winning races. But to see what it meant to all the family, the team, Team Hard is one massive family, and all the sponsors, things like that, it made it really special. But not only our car, but Michael Crease came 9th. He'll probably be correcting me if it's wrong, but I think he came P9, and I think Bobby may have been top 10 as well. So we had 3 cars in the top 10 for Team Hard. It was a pretty special weekend. That is
so. How many years now have you then been on the grid? How many years is it? Is it 5, 6, how many years from when you had that the first Team Hard car to now?
So 2013. So this would have been my 7th year or 8th year.
13, 7th year. So just run through some of the cars. So you've had the Infinity, and you've been you were with Eurotech, weren't you, for 1 year?
So obviously 2013 Vauxhall Insignia, which was originally it had been the John Thorne car, Thorney Motorsport,
yep.
The Batman livery.
The Batmobile, yeah.
So that would have been the first car I drove, and I then drove that again in 2014 for the first half of the year. I then switched to a Volkswagen CC. That was the second half of 2014. That was Team BMR, Warren Scott's team, which obviously became Subarus.
Yep.
2015 was my first year with a manufacturer, so that was obviously 888 Racing with the MG program.
Yep.
And that was the year I had the patchwork quilt car, so you're probably pleased you're not painting that car, because there was 33 sponsors. It might have taken more than an hour to paint that.
Was that when it was a black car?
No, that would have been the Insignia. The MG was because Andy Jordan was my teammate, so he had obviously the Pertex sponsorship, so all the panels are blue. So to keep the costs down, we went to a blue base colour as well, because obviously then we could share body panels, things like that.
Yeah.
Bumpers and bits and pieces. So that was 2015, and that was the year I got my first ever win in British Touring Cars, which was a moment I'll never ever forget.
So where was that? What circuit? And
that was Snetterton, race 3, and I had Plato behind me, and there was Andy Prio behind him. So it was some pretty good company to sort of win your first race, which was pretty special.
Yeah, and Snetterton is a good track as well. It's a fast track. It's a good track.
Do you know what? As a driver, I think you get asked this question a lot, like, what's your favourite circuit? Now, you always tend to like where you go well at, and for some reason, I've always sort of just clicked with the Snetterton circuit, the new one, you know, the new one.
Yeah,
configuration.
Called 300, is it? Snetterton 300?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I mean, even going back to, like, the Clio days, for some reason, it just sort of, I think as a driver, you either just click with a track or you don't, and it's one of those sort of fast-flowing circuits. It sort of rewards people, I think, who are a bit smoother and things like that. So, yeah, it's good. It's always gone well for me there. But that was my first ever win, obviously, say, in British touring cars. So it's a moment I'll never ever forget. And ITV actually, thankfully, replayed that race the other day for us on ITV Motorsports Twitter account, which is pretty cool.
So yeah, you're like, I'll enjoy this one.
Yeah, funny enough, it was the race of a difference, wasn't it? The BTCC race over difference last weekend, and it was actually the Silverstone race that got voted from last year. And it was the first time I'd watched the race. I hadn't got round to watching it from the win last year, so I was pretty thankful for everyone for voting for that race. So I got to watch it myself.
Yeah, because you hadn't seen it yourself. It's so you been the MGs, and then you had the MG, and then that was with Triple Eight, because then they obviously Triple Eight and BMR were the same team essentially.
Yeah, that happened at the end of 2015, and it's a funny one actually. I was working at Millbrook Proving Ground. I think you've probably been there.
Yeah, been to Millbrook. Yeah.
So I was there. It was November time. I was working for Nissan. Now, in my defence, it was the end of the day, but I got a telephone call, and it came up as Dick Bennett's, and I was like, I can't ignore a telephone call from Dick Bennett's, can I?
Yeah.
So I pulled. It was the end of the day. We'd been refuelling the cars for the event for the following day. I pulled my truck over, even though it's a private, obviously owned land. You probably are allowed to use your mobile, I'm not too sure. But I pulled over in a little lay-by that there is at Millbrook, took his telephone call. Anyway, my boss drove past at this point as he saw me pull in the lay-by on the telephone, and I got a pretty rude message over the radio. What do you think you're doing whilst you're meant to be working on the telephone? But that was the first telephone conversation I had with Dick Bennett, saying, look, BMW IHG, they want you to drive with them in 2016. Can you get down here and have a meeting with us? And obviously the rest is history. It happened pretty quickly.
Wow.
I went down and met Mr. BMW and IHG down in Denham, IHG Rewards Club car. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And I got a pretty good road car as a company car as well, which I couldn't really grumble about too much. So yeah, that was 2016. It was good. We had some podiums. It was my first ever year of driving a rear-wheel drive race car. I hadn't driven in rear-wheel drive before, so it was a bit of a learning curve. I think it was the first weekend at Brands, we got a podium, we got P2. And I was like, this is where it's all been going wrong. I always needed to be in rear-wheel drive. And then I think we had a trophy drought for about another 4 weekends after that, so it hit reality pretty quick that it wasn't the missing item that I've been looking for. But it was good. I enjoyed it, and obviously a very professional team, AAA, WSR, and obviously then moving into Eurotech with the Honda Civic as well.
Yeah, because that was Jeff Smith, wasn't it, with the Eurotech?
Yeah. So, I mean, in one way it's not good, but obviously being in a position where I don't have personal money to pay for my racing, it's all done through sponsorship. And hard work, and the likes of BMW, IHG, and the sponsors paying for it. We're never in a position usually to do our deals really early, and it was the end of 2016. The IHG partnership with BMW finished as a BMW partnership, so that unfortunately left my drive hanging by a piece of string, really, because there was no one to pay the bills. Motorsport costs money.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that was the end of my rear-wheel drive experience in touring cars. And then I didn't have a drive at all, and I went to the Autosport show at Birmingham, like we do every year.
Yep.
And wandering around, it wasn't a PR stunt, I didn't have a drive, chatting to a few people. And I got a text from Mr. Smith himself, Jeff. I think it was on the Friday afternoon. And he was like, are you about? Can you come and meet us? So I went into his motorhome that was on a stand at the show. We sat down, and I think within half an hour, we batted out a few understandings on budgets and things like that, and that was pretty much job done. We was in a Honda Civic, which obviously, having grown up watching touring cars, the Civics have always been one of the best cars on the grid.
Yep.
So it's a bit of another dream come true, having driven for a manufacturer of MG and WSR, and then getting to drive a BTCC Civic as well. It was pretty cool.
So, yes, you do like test brand days and test days, and yet you kind of you're there with the journos and stuff. So is Millbrook like where you're based, or?
No, mate, I get around. So I go up and down the country the same as you. Obviously, racing, it's weird. I don't earn a living from doing touring cars, but I earn because of doing touring cars, if you get what I'm saying. Because I get to do other events because of it, because I race in touring cars, like the Goodwood Festival of Speed. I work for Rolls-Royce. I do a lot for Rolls-Royce around the world. Sounds really glamorous, that. But as you can imagine, it's some hotel somewhere, back to a track, back to a hotel. You don't get to see much of like these countries you go to. Yeah. But it's still really nice. But obviously, doing all my own sponsorship takes up a lot of time. So, especially in the off season, it works quite well because the automotive industry, like it calms down quite a bit in November, December, January. Yeah. Which works quite well then with trying to find sponsorship to go racing the following year. So it sort of fits quite nice. I just have to remember that I don't actually earn any money between November and January usually, so I have to be sensible in the summertime. Yeah.
So I mean, we went on our honeymoon this year. Over December, January, because it's the one time of year that I'm available. Yeah, and I'm not like chasing things and whatever. So, but yeah, no, it's it's weird. Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird time though, because obviously what I do, a bit like you, I do a lot of corporate work and work for brands and manufacturers. So it's all. I thought doing this would kind of fill that void, and plus I get to do stuff like this, which is a bit more interesting to hear your story about what you do and how you go about being a touring car driver. So because I know there's younger drivers listening and whatever. So it's if you had any advice to somebody who wants to get into racing, what would be like your top 3 things to go right? These are the things to do or try or whatever. What would be your advice to somebody who's on the maybe karting and going up to touring car?
First things first, never, ever, ever give up. I must have sent out, I can't even start to think about the amount of emails, tens of thousands of emails to companies, cold calling, knocking on people's doors, things like that. And I always say to people, because I get asked this question quite a lot from people who, like young kids karting, and I always say, if I could do it, like I said earlier on, I didn't come from a wealthy background whatsoever. Very thankful to my mum and dad because they put every penny they could from my dad's a one-man builder, my mum's a childminder, into my racing, but I didn't come from a wealthy background, so if I can do it, then there's no reason that everybody else out there can't do it either. And it's just a matter of going out there, working your backside off, to be honest, never giving up, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there, get out there and talk to people and just knock on their doors. And every company has got a marketing budget, and you've got to convince them that touring cars are the thing to spend it on, and you're the right man for the job. So I'm not going to say it's easy, and obviously in the current situation, where the world is, the economy, it's certainly not easy either, but you've got to think outside the box. Say if it's corporate days and things like that, just work on anything, but just do not give up. Get yourself out there, go to touring car races, talk to teams. Going back to Team Hard, Tony's absolutely amazing at looking after people and bringing people on, and that's pretty special himself. Look at that.
There we are. So we've got one literally on our last minute. So I better say thank you so much, mate, for doing it. And who do you think should have their car done next? Who should get in touch to get their car done?
If I don't say Nicholas Hamilton after he called me the best and that he loves me, I'm going to get told off.
I think it's a good shout. The red car would look awesome. So, Nick Hamilton, get in touch. So,
cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Buddy. Thank you very much. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.